Okay, now it's your guys' turn. Those of you who raised your hands earlier, or anybody who are here who has been in that situation where you've got an idea for a project, you're even maybe discussing it internally, but you aren't quite ready to commit. I'd like to hear from you sort of what are the biggest stumbling blocks? What actually holds you back from taking a project from concept into actually creating it? And I see you nodding. So you want to jump in?
Hi, my name is Krista, and I work for Toys R Us. And we are starting a new campaign in the fall around the idea of We Love Kids. And so my project idea was that I wanted us to start a blog that was employees blogging about the funny, fantastic things that the kids in their lives do. So I don't have kids, but I have an adorable new niece. And so maybe I would write stories about my niece. And the Kodak story yesterday was really inspiring to me because it was really building the passion around the underlying motivation for taking pictures and that passion for photography, not necessarily pushing Kodak. And so I'd like the site to do the same thing, but it's really hard, or it's been really hard to convince people that, yes, we have the time for this, it doesn't cost a lot of money, but those are the two really strong stumbling blocks of, well, there's nobody who has time to do this, and it's too much of an investment, and you'll get bored with it after a while, and you'll abandon the effort, and I'm sure that that's going to cost a lot of money. Like, there's no way that we can do it inexpensively, and yet we run 30-second commercials on primetime TV that really aren't great at all, in all honesty. So it's interesting that they're not willing to put somebody on the project full time, but they're willing to throw away money in like national circulars, which we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on every year. So those are the big stumbling blocks.
So I hear you saying that money and time are the issue, but really, actually, what I hear you saying is that management is the issue?
I think really what it is the perception of time and money. That's the biggest stumbling block.
Okay. Anybody else in this space having issues? Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're at that point where you're sort of moving into that production phase, if you could tell us a minute about sort of what's been the, if there has been a holdup or the thing that you had to break through in order to get to that point.
I actually do have a stumbling block, now that you've said that. My name is Terry Gamer. I'm CEO of Wamego. And I was the person who stood up and said I had started the first local women's newspaper in the country. And I am now involved in a new online community because there are now 500 local grassroots newspapers in the country aimed at women of all kinds, all shapes, all everything. And for me, the biggest stumbling block has been the fact that I am 64. I haven't been doing what you all do. I have to figure out how to do it and learn this new technology. I mean, I've certainly been online in a very conventional way forever, but now there's a new technology that I have to learn, and I think that really what you can do is you can just, you can get something started, and it takes you about 6 months to learn a new industry. You can learn a new industry and a new everything in 6 months. You can't learn it as well as people who've been doing it for years, but you can learn enough to talk about it. So that's been the struggle for me, is trying to get the new industry, the 2.0 experience, and moving into what will be the 3.0 experience, because that's what we're going to be doing on this website. So that's been the biggest stumbling block for me. And getting out of my element. I mean, coming here to BlogHer was way out of my element, even though I started out originally working with women all the time. This was so out of my element because of what you all do and what you bring to the table. It's been the most exciting thing I've been to for years.
That's awesome. So let me see if I can sum this one up in a couple words. Expertise sounds like an issue, and technology. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hi, good morning. My name is Kelly, and I work at a major trade book publisher. We publish New York Times bestselling authors, and we've been in the web space for 12 years now and have been working with bloggers for years, fortunately. What we have started doing in the past 6 months, the imprints are launching their own blogs, but they're one-way streets. It's only the editors talking to the community. They're not allowing any sort of reader feedback. And again, it's a legal thing. Legal's like, oh, What if they say something bad about our books? What if they say something bad about one of our authors? What if one of our authors comes on and says something bad about one of our other authors? It's really mind-boggling, the sort of stumbling blocks that they can come up with. So the fact that we're a little bit further ahead than it sounds like some of the companies in the room, how do I get them to the point of being comfortable? Yes, we can switch on the lever and allow that two-way street and not just the one-way push street.
Fear. Like internally, there's fear about taking this step. And control.